sneezing. We're going to get started. It is dry in the nation's capital. You hear this
literally
parched
raining
voice.
outside.
The only thing worse than my voice is one like this crackling. Like an open fog.
Welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast. My voice is not dry, and I'm here to welcome you. I'm Corey, and we have another host here, Heather. We are part of a Sugar Cookie Marketing group on Facebook. If you haven't joined, please do. We'd love to have you there. We're clearing out old membies.
Well, I want to tell you, everyone's like, this is a publicity stunt. And I appreciate that you think I'm that creative. However, the virtual assistant says either pay me more or I quit.
Yes.
And I said, okay, let me figure out some stuff to do. So Corey and I had talked about it on the last podcast.
At the end of the day, the group's been around for 5 years.
And bakers, it's so funny. Like when I send out an email in the Cookie College, we do something called Dear December Me, right? Where you can write your future self letter and they'll email it out. Did I forget this year? Yes. Did someone remind me? Kindly. When I sent it out, I was like, oh, the bounce backs tell me who's gone out of business fully.
Yeah, I know. And just the cookie baking industry has a high turnover rate. And what turnover rate means is a lot of people coming and going. Because you can do it from home, a lot of people start off like it's a side thing, something to give them something to do.
The biggest thing was COVID. Brought a lot of bakers, and you're looking at two of them.
1,000%.
You're looking at two of them.
Yes.
We started the cookie class before COVID, but COVID definitely put a stop on that. But it brings a lot of people because we had nothing to do, twiddle your thumbs, learn a new hobby, love it. Now we're going to the 6-year post-pandemic origination date.
Plus, just cookie baking in general. If you're like, you became a new stay-at-home mom, you have a child on the way, you're like, I've lost myself. A lot of people find cookie decorating as a purpose thing.
The fluidity of being able to start and stop it. And I know people are vexed by this at Christmas because you got the Christmas bakers coming back, but it allows you to kind of a low-cost entry. You don't need a college degree. Yes. You just need to get some time in on the royal icing.
Practice.
But then on the flip side, you can stop when you want to or when life changes or you're a stay-at-home mom or this job you got to raise.
So there is a lot of stopping and starting. And the group has been around for over 5 years at this point. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people who joined at the beginning are no longer even baking at all. Like they've sold off the KitchenAid. There's no coming back.
So I think a lot of times I'll join a ton of Facebook groups if any interest I have remotely. And then I'll be like, it'll never show me those groups again. You can tell, my theory is that when you join a group, Facebook's like, here's everything in the group posted. And it's waiting to see which actions you take. And then it's like, okay, I guess you don't like them. We'll never show them to you again.
As a marketing point to this, everyone has what's called an engagement ratio. And ratios are based off of your growth. So the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group has 50,000 members in there. So the ratio of how many people engage from month to month to how many people are in the group. And just like that, your Facebook page has an engagement ratio. When you post something and only a few people react to it, you'll notice that your post isn't pushed out anymore.
Well, I think like I said, they're saying, okay, well, let them have a little bit this time. Let's see how many people react to this. And if the reactions are low, then the algo's like, man, they don't like that.
Yeah. Something that me and Heather love to track is active users, monthly active users in the Facebook group.
How many do you think? I just pulled it up.
I think it's around 30 something.
35,089. And in the group, we have
50,200.
Oh, my goodness, girl.
I told you I'm tracking this year.
And that would be, it's 50,187. So that is the engagement rate or ratio, whatever you want to call it, is how you determine what. So we have a 70%, a 69% engagement rate within the group. So active members.
Yeah.
And active members by definition of Facebook, does it tell me? Total active members are people who viewed, posted, commented, or reacted to content within the dates you selected. Active members per day are the number of people who engage with your content on a given day within the dates you selected. So at the
end of the day, out of 50,000 people, that 35,000 are active. Amazing. I can tell you the little extra couple grand that are in there that aren't doing anything, those are people that no longer bake.
Or we've fallen out of the algorithm. Who knows?
Yeah.
Either way, a little bit of dead weight. So we were hiring the VA to remove inactive members. And the way you can see that, if you guys don't know how a Facebook group works, within each group you join, you have like almost a membership profile, which you guys can see it in it. Anytime you make a post, you get some points. The points are useless. However, to an admin team, it tells us the activity, posts, comments, or reactions in the last 30 days, and post
Eternity.
Yeah. Time present, time past. So activity would be making any engagement within the last 30 days or any post at all ever.
Yes.
And then a lot of profiles, you click on them and you can tell that the profile's been abandoned and things like that. So we were going to assign to the VA to clean that up. But brings us to the point of this podcast. Stay on track. Corey and I have spreadsheets on the brain.
2026. Everyone, like Heather's old boyfriend, and she brought up last week, he always had to start on a Monday. A lot of people start on the new year. That's why there's New Year's resolutions. So if there was a time to start tracking, it would be now.
And the reason why I do like starting, I track all year long, but I like to have, and I told Corey, because I said, if you call this not working, that's on you, man, because I had to have my spreadsheets dialed in, ready to go Jan 1.
Yeah.
Because I like to look at our fiscal year as a whole from January 1 to December 31st.
Yes.
So all my spreadsheets, I roll them over to new copies. Why don't you just use the old ones? What I did last year, I can see the gaps. And I say to Corey that sometimes when I'm like, oh, I wish this was a little different, I build it into the next year's spreadsheet. And every year it gets progressively more intuitive for how my brain works.
Yeah.
And that is what we're going to talk about today, because tracking.
I want to say, though, tracking is like dough days. Let me explain that to you, non-baker over there. When you make dough, just to have dough on hand, dough in the freezer, dough ready to go.
Do, re, mi.
Do, re, mi.
Fa, sol, la, ti,
dough. It's the most underwhelming. You don't get a pretty picture.
Mm-mm.
It's not cute. You don't say, wow, I made 5 loaves of dough. It has to be done.
Loaves of dough? Is that how we're counting?
It's not, no. It has to be done because it makes a better business, but it's not, no one's congratulating you. No one's saying how cute your dough is.
And it's ugly, right? So
It's
the whole,
ugly.
you're like, that was a ton of work and nobody's clapping for me.
And that is my
tracking.
What tracking?
That is the thing with tracking. So to kind of, Corey and I are going to go through kind of the basics of what I would recommend considering tracking. And then we'll go through different avenues that you want to focus on and what you would track if you did that. A little off the cuff here because we got to.
Listen, we got a text message this morning. I got a text message this morning. It says, Seasons 52, 11 a.m. Me and Mom. No questions. I said, I will be there. I will be there.
So a little bit of a time constraint because that fishing on it as well. That said, I prefer to have and I know this is built into my own limitations. I want my spreadsheets to start on the first of the year and I want them to log every once a week. So,
okay.
I know that's I'm going to challenge
intuitive,
but a lot of people may get overzealous and say, I'll just log in every day.
That's hard.
When data, when they say, when data is missing points, it becomes dirty data, right? It's hard to use dirty data because it doesn't make a lot. And now has no trajectory. It's almost becomes useless. And I tell Corey, once my spreadsheets get dirty, it causes me a lot of anxiety. So I say, okay, I know that on Mondays, I can set aside 1 hour to update this spreadsheet.
And as you're saying, talk to the baker out there, the solopreneur in their small home bakery, how they're going to
took a bunch of orders this week.
Yeah.
Okay. How many orders did I take last week? And we're going to talk about which one of these metrics you want to track. But if you could say every Monday, you can look at the past week and the future week. Now we can log leads that came in, bakes that I'm baking, leads that converted, things like that to tell us what happened that week. Then I have in my spreadsheet a little line item for notes. What happened this week that made this week a lot different than others?
Okay, you could have run out of dough and you had to remake.
I took a week off for vacation.
Yeah.
Right? I would want to know that because my number's going to look weak either before or after during that. But I want to say, oh yeah, that was the week we were out of town.
I do want to say, if you think you're going to remember what happened in the last year, you won't. So to see like, wow, June was horrendous and not remembering that you had a vacation mid-June, it's hard to remember things. And I think I'm going to remember everything I don't.
I have a terrible memory.
You really do.
And it's my secret power is to know that I'll never remember it. So I never tried to.
Yeah.
Instead, I have to log it. And if I don't log it, I say, well, I'll never remember it. So I take a log of it. Now, that's what I would challenge most people listening. I know you can make this unique to yourself, but Mondays at 10 a.m. And I have it so dialed in because I don't want to suddenly start halfway through the year taking logs on Wednesdays because half of my year would be on a Monday and half, whatever that day is, your admin day, you say, hell or high water, heck or high water, I'm going to sit down in the spreadsheet and just get the basics in there, right? We don't want the spreadsheet to track everything because you'll be overwhelmed. Again,
absolutely.
You got to build the humanity into the spreadsheet.
And you know who you are at the end of the day. And with that power comes great responsibility.
And not all metrics are created equally. There are metrics that can guide your entire existence. And then there are metrics where you are just wasting your own time.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, let's talk about customer acquisition tracking.
Well, I want to even go higher than that.
Okay.
Your goals in your business in 2026 are going to dictate what you track.
Love that. I agree. If you say, I want to be an influencer, your tracking is going to look much different than someone says, I want to beat my sales from last year.
Yeah. If you're like, I'm a brand spanking new business and I want to get out there so people just know me, you're going to track differently than someone who's been in business for a while.
Maybe you can say, instead of focusing, and I love that. Corey and I will say, what's this year's overarching goal?
Yeah.
Last year was client retention. And then, what suffers when you focus on retention? Acquisition. Yeah.
Can't have both.
That's why I feel like, hey, this year or this month or this week's goals, metrics will look different than my next month's. Yeah. And you'll make a note. This month, I wanted to focus on this.
I do want to say, for me and Heather's goals, in our marketing company, Heather pounded this into my brain. As soon as you get a client, you're losing them. Client. And you have to remember, and that goes for a bakery too. Mm-hmm. As soon as you get your client and you set that high expectation where you just nail the design.
The day you sign them is the day you begin to lose them, because atrophy,
new people coming into the market, maybe priced lower than you.
Location differences.
New people who are just good at decorating coming in there.
Right. So to focus on retention of your customers, you're going to do different things than acquisition. Retention is I'm going to take the people who order from me and enter into them a CRM.
Yes.
And then I'm going to send them an email. And then I'm going to send them a pop-by or something like that.
And then on their birthday, they're going to get a little note from me. And then their next order, I'm going to include something extra.
That, if you did all those things all year, that your retention numbers, your returning clients, that's what retention, we're retaining something that we already have. That is going to be a metric that is going to grow. You're going to look and be like, what did I do for acquisition? Why is it so low? Well, we focused on retention.
Right. At the end of the day, you're one person, 24 hours, two hands. So you can't have the goal of everything. And I wish that could be us. And I wish we had enough time and enough brains and enough hands. We're not octopi. We have two hands. So you're going to focus on something, and your year of tracking is going to be built on that.
Right. So let's say we focus as a baker on retention.
Yeah.
I listened to the podcast. The cheapest lead is one I already have, so I'm going to focus on that. When you focus on retention, your marketing costs are going to be lower.
Yeah,
right? Because you're using someone.
You're internal. You're not external anymore. We're not trying to get new leads every single time.
So you're going to borrow from the Facebook ads budget, which is an acquisition, and you're going to put it into a retargeting pixel if you wanted, or something like a CRM program.
Yeah, or you're going to, come Christmas, make a vanilla extract for your best clients ever.
And that's going to be your overarching umbrella focus, right? And we could obviously do acquisition while we're doing retention, but we're going to focus on that and make a mental note in our spreadsheet, so it's not mental, that this was their goal of maybe it's this month. Maybe 1 month I'm going to focus on cultivating past clients.
Yeah.
So, okay. Then you would say, okay, how do I track that, Heather and Corey? Well, now you're going to have to approach this on how every baker is going to be unique because of how you're acquiring the orders and how you're tracking orders.
Yeah.
So if you say, well, I take everything through Facebook Messenger, you're going to have a much harder time than somebody who's using a job form or somebody who's using Shopify that can easily export or use Zapier to auto-populate a spreadsheet, right? Mm-hmm. And then a CRM program would solve a lot of this for you, and that would be a big task to take. But you can input the person, and now every correspondence with these CRM programs will actually pull into their profile.
So, okay, question for you. Mm-hmm. I get my leads through Jotform, and it does kind of keep things nice and cozy up in there. It's not a CRM because I can't add a node, but could Zapier work with Jotform and input them in a CRM?
And Zapier is something that makes two applications talk to each other that shouldn't be talking.
Yeah, so Jotform is owned by Jotform Incorporated, but we want them to talk to our CRM, which what was a CRM that you like? Nutshell?
I liked it, yeah.
Okay, so Jotform is an independent company from Nutshell, but we don't have enough time in our day to always go in and put the information from Jotform into Nutshell. What Zapier does, another company in between, makes those two speak to each other. So it'll take the information from Jotform, a new client lead, and it will go and put it in Nutshell, our client CRM, Customer Retention Manager, and it will let it speak so that we have to do less physical labor. And that is what Zapier is. And they call that action a zap.
Yeah. You have a lot of zaps turned on. Okay. So you have Jotform. So you can go to Zapier even without buying it And then you can see what it's able to pair with on Zapier. So let's say we have job form and it says, okay, we have a bunch of apps it can talk to. Nutshell. Let's see if it even has Nutshell. It does. So we said, Corey doesn't use a CRM, but we have these. It's saying, I can connect your job form to Nutshell. What do you want it to do? It says it's got 2 options for you. The most popular people are using is create Nutshell leads from a new job form submission for seamless lead management. And then it says another one, add new job form submissions to Nutshells as person.
So I want to say you can do this individually. You can get a lead from job form and you can go into your Nutshell and put it in there. The problem is we know who we are. There ain't enough time in the day. What Zapier does, it is a paid thing. What it can do is create those leads for you. So while you are busy in the kitchen, it's doing the work behind the scenes.
I love automation.
Yeah.
And AI has brought automation to the forefront. There is such a thing, I believe, is too much automation to where it's working and you're not even checking it.
Well, I want to say, when my dentist, who I haven't gone to in 14 years, gives me a phone call, Merry Christmas.
Hello.
Sorry.
That's almost too much automation. Yeah. We've gotten so efficient that we've lost touch with reality. So something I would say, okay, job form, when somebody sends a job form, put them in a Nutshell. But on Mondays, Heather, I'm going to go into Nutshell and I'm going to fill out some personal identifiable information about this person. Stuff that I know about them.
Here's the thing. When they stop by to pick up their orders, I always invite them into the little part of my house at the front so we can have a conversation. And that's where I learn a lot about them. Like one time this lady's like, oh, I see you have a picture of a bulldog. My daughter has a bulldog. And now I know they like bulldogs in their family.
Corey needs to input that into a software so she doesn't have to be like, is that the bulldog lady?
Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have? Oh, he died last week.
And then when she brings it up again and I'll be like, yeah, I love my bulldog. I don't know. And she's like, oh, I thought I told you I had a bulldog. And then you see.
So, which is great. If Corey inputs that this person is this lady, she's ordered from me before, she likes dogs. What could I also say? I know there's a lady who likes dogs. Let me search my Nutshell, invite her to my pets focus cookie class, right?
Or when I go to Marshall's and I find a good deal on a little dog ball, I buy 2. One for my dog, one for hers.
So what I would do is I would say, okay, I'm going to start by acquiring leads through a form.
Yeah.
Right. And this is why we're constantly shoving you guys into forms for leads. Because you can use this data.
Yes.
Versus manually doing what you absolutely could and then having to fish around for that data.
Yeah.
Things that software like CRMs do that I really like is every time you use Gmail or Workspace, every correspondence is now pulled into this Nutshell CRM under this person's profile. So you can actually reference those emails as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very neat. Okay. That's if we're going to focus on tracking our customer retention, right?
To me, that overarches everything. Customer retention at the end of the day, keeping your customers happy, having a relationship with your clients is going to behoove you no matter what your goal is.
You can do a fancy CRM, but you can be as simple and don't ever pull my spreadsheets from me.
Yeah.
You can be as simple as inputting in a spreadsheet. I got 5 leads this week and 3 were from past customers. And then you could say, okay, wow, that's pretty good. How many of those past customers, how many of those leads converted and what ratio was past customers?
Yeah. A lot of bakers listening to this who have been in business for a while be like, well, I didn't do this before and now my old, start now. It doesn't matter. You weren't doing it before. So if you start now.
To plan a spreadsheet was 30 years ago. Yes. Second best time to plan a spreadsheet is today.
If you're listening to this and you're getting ready to start your business or your business is in its infancy, you are at the prime time to really set yourself up for success by doing this now versus later. But I want to say.
You can do it at any time.
You can do it at any time.
I have had to let go of this spreadsheet doesn't cover everything, so I don't like him anymore. Yeah. No, he's covering enough. He started late. He's growing, and that's all I need.
Yeah. Even if you did it in a Google Doc, like the baby of an Excel.
Google
Sheets. And you just put name, first name, last name, email, and a factoid.
You're better than 90% of babies out there.
You are. Because when you press Control F in a Google Sheet, you can find their name and then you can be like, oh yeah, she said her daughter was getting married last time. So when they come to the door, did your daughter get married? Oh my goodness, congratulations. Show me a photo. And you're already better.
Don't be afraid to delete dirty data. Don't be afraid to be like, well, I mean, they ordered from me, but it was 6 years ago. Is that a valuable retention? No. 6 years ago, they've never ordered from you again. Don't be afraid to be like, I don't remember anything about them. They wouldn't remember anything about me. The email would just bog me down. I think sometimes when had you see MailChimp lowered its free plan again?
No way.
$250. So sometimes when we get like, okay, excited, how much data can I gather? The more data, the better.
Yeah.
Remember, it's always quality data.
Absolutely.
If I load up 1,000 emails.
Yes.
But 900 hasn't ever heard from me. it's not the most valuable spreadsheet unless I uploaded 100 of those people.
Yeah. A lot of times if you start going to networking groups, and I used to live in networking groups, let me tell you.
Beaner.
You'll get a lot of people's business cards. You'll get a lot of sheets of papers with people's information on it. You're gonna want to take that information and be like, I can use this. No, that's not a valuable lead just because it's on a piece of paper that was handed to you. A valuable lead is you going up to someone, hey, I'm Corey. I'm with Mixing Bowl Cookie Company. Oh, you're a roofer? Oh my goodness. Yeah, we could do something. That is a valuable lead.
If I went to a networking group of 30 people and 3 people expressed interest, I'd rather input just the 3 people than I worked at a company and we did a lot of sales events, expos.
Yes.
And it was always you had to have a gimmick to get people to give your business card because everyone wanted to enter a win. It was funny. They came up with this thing called a money ball. And they
made me do it once.
It's kind of funny. You'd get a foam core from Michael's or whatever, and then you tape money around it. Every time you create one layer, you saran wrap it again and again until now the thing is like the size of a basketball, but it's just money.
And you can kind of see the money through the saran wrap. And it's a ball. You can throw it. Me and Heather literally tossed it to each other.
If you throw a ball of money into the and these are, marketing. That's such a gimmick.
It's a gimmick.
However, how else are you going to, in the most eye-searingly boring expo, how are you going to get people to stop by your booth? When you toss a ball of money into the air, it does get a little attention. Anyways, they would drop their business cards into this bowl, and they would write their guesses on their business. Right. Rudimentary marketing. Now we have, 100, 200, 300 business cards. The boss would be like, input all of these into a spreadsheet and input all of those into a CRM program and then input that into our newsletter. And I was like, I said, I would like to challenge the status quo here. 1, that's an insane amount of data entry.
Yeah.
But 2, are all these worth it?
Because I want to say at the end of the day, they wanted to win a ball of money.
Also, it was a lot of our other vendors.
Yeah,
they
sure.
said, well, if somebody's got to win,
it wasn't valuable data. And you're going to run into non-valuable data in your bakery business all the time. Whether someone's just inquiring, a lot of times you'll get someone from asking to donate. While that's valuable in its own sense, it's not necessarily where you want to send your weekly newsletter, someone who wanted you to donate something, things like that.
So you'd have to make a note of that. You can see a lot of this. You spend time looking at a bunch of empty cells and asking yourself what is valuable or not. So Corey had talked about in the Cookie College this week, tracking social media metrics. I think we get lost in the sauce there because everybody, if you're brand new or if you're a $1 billion conglomerate, has metrics provided by social media platforms. Awesome. It's a nice way to get a little temperature check on what your marketing is doing. But not all metrics are created equal, and not all metrics are valuable considering what your guiding goal is.
Yes.
Let's say, Heather and Corey, this year, I would like to be a social media influencer in the baking space, specifically with sugar cookies, because I know you guys said niche thrice, name a price. So we niche it down. I want to make baking-related content on social media. Great. I would say, what platform are you going to focus on? All of them. No.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to focus on Instagram. I think I have more ability to grow on Instagram. I'll cross-post to TikTok, but I want my signal metrics to come from Instagram. Okay, great. TikTok has better acquisition, but Instagram will make you work for it. And I find that its data will be better.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's not so important that we have returning customers as much as we have views.
Yes.
Because we're getting paid out of the Creator Fund, and the Creator Fund pays based on views.
What we create, because that's your goal now, what we create is going to look so much different than we're trying to get mom and pop down the street to open their wallet and buy their kid a birthday set.
We're no longer tracking sales per lead.
Yeah.
That's not our focus anymore. We're now tracking impressions per video.
Yeah.
And you can see, but what about my sales per lead? You just told me that they're not your focus. So that metric will start to hurt.
And I see bakers want to do it all.
Who would?
Listen, sources. Meta, Facebook is like, I posted a reel and it was like, you could get $6 if you post this in 6 different groups. If an admin deletes one, it doesn't count anymore. And I said, wow. It really is trying to
span the world.
Yeah, but so what it's trying to do is it's pushing you in every direction. Because who doesn't want it at $6? $6 is $6. But at the end of the day, is it supporting your goal? Is it taking away from your goal?
If you tell me, girls, I would like to focus on income per cookie class. Let's do net or gross, right? Because if we're focusing on gross, we got a big number. If we're focusing on net, we have a small number. Whatever one of those you want to pick. Maybe we want to focus on both. Maybe you say, I want to see what my big number is, and I want to see what it costs me to get it down to my small number. Maybe you would say, okay, a little less on the gift bags, right? Eating up my income. Then we're not going to focus on impression views on Instagram.
We're not.
Because that metric doesn't support buns and seats at class. Yes, they kiss. They're kissing cousins, right? If you get more views about a cookie class, you may sell more tickets. However, this is not the metric we're going to focus on, at least this month, or at least whatever that goal is. We need to find the metrics that support telling us what is working and what is not.
Yeah. I see a lot of bakers being like, I'm posting in every group. I'm not making any sales. That posting in every group isn't a sales metric. It's an awareness metric. You're making people aware that you exist, but you're spamming all the groups in order to do so. Instead, what you're doing is getting your name out there, but they're not opening their wallets. They're just learning about you. What you want to do is collect those people somewhere and have a retargeting Facebook ad going up. So when they click to when the people from the group click to your Facebook page, they've shown interest, then you hit them with a 1-2 punch. Buy this right now.
Click to my website.
You're more likely to get more sales.
So you see, now we're picking out the metrics, those statistics that are telling us which direction we want to go.
My goal for social media, I have the numbers, okay? Got the numbers. My goal is to create the relationship.
Corey's going into relationship marketing. It's a little bit more of a figmented imaginary type.
It's hard to be like, and this was the one that did it.
Right. But what she's going to do, what she did last week is she turned a local foodie guru, popular guy, into a cookie, right? She posted it in a group, and then she tracked, and this is what she wanted to do. She wanted to track new page likes. New local page likes, right? So she did two campaigns as simple as posting cookies in two different groups. We talked about the first watch, the F was falling off. And then she tried this foodies guy. And she said between the two of these, a higher performer, oddly, was the first watch one.
Yeah. But in the vehicle, we hang out with our family on Saturdays. In the car on Saturdays, my sister says, you'll never guess, I was at a company Christmas party and someone said, I saw your sister. And she's like, what are you talking about? She said she posted about that local foodie celeb. And I took a screenshot and sent it to my sister and says, look, I know this person.
Right. So my question for you, you're tracking something hard to track, relationship marketing. What is a metric going to signal to you that this worked? Is it page likes? Is it sales?
It's going to be higher view count and higher engagement rate.
In the groups or on your page?
On my page. What I'm trying to do is bring them to the page at the end of the day. And from there, that's where my real relationship. So while I did make the foodie guy into a cookie or whatever, technically I don't own those groups. And at the end of the day, they're so vast. They're so big that it's not necessarily local people that are in those groups.
Right. So the foodies group, what, 50, 70,000?
150,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, and maybe they all live here. Who knows? But the thing is, Corey's like, if I try to, and you could be very well known. That foodie guy, he's just really popular. Yes. He's able to command presence in a group, which is impressive because it's hard to do.
What I'm trying to do, instead of reaching so broad, he doesn't sell anything. So at the end of the day, his could be the view that he's just having a relationship. I want to be in the local Prince William County groups.
Okay.
Hyper local. And I want to be local on my page. Okay. So we're going to do those kind of things. In relationship, my face is going to be in front of the camera more often. It's not going to just be a cute cookie set. Thank you, Felicia, for ordering.
Corey's she said her goal this year is to put herself in front of the camera, do hyper local content, testing what hits. And just, we even said maybe not so much just a voiceover, maybe talking on site and saying it, which we tried at the Tufton class. We'll talk about it in a second. Are you making a Tufton class for you? Yeah. So that is what she's going to focus on. Now, I personally believe that every spreadsheet needs to have some kind of monetary tracking to it, because at the end of the day, this is still a business. If you're not making money, you're not in business, right? So Corey can say, I'm going to track my leads, my income coming in this week, and then I'm going to see what it relates to the content that I posted. I believe that your post may help in a 6-month
absolutely.
Because Corey's getting her name known to strangers, people who've never heard from her, and they're not ready to order immediately.
Absolutely. My goal, I think, at the end of the year, if my relationship marketing does as I plan to, I'm going to get more mentions in groups when people are looking for something. Right now, my client retention is really good. That's where my books are really padded, because it's people who've ordered from me before coming back.
And so you're not focusing on them.
So I'm not focusing on them. But in my goal, I don't want to forget them this year.
Right.
So I'm not necessarily going for new business because I have old business.
Excitingly, Corey said she's going to get into CRM. I'll help her with it.
I know.
And she's going to do manual inputs.
And then a newsletter that's segmented.
segmented. So what she means there is, yes, I'll put in all my leads into a CRM. And within that, I will tag them as returning past clients who have ordered, past leads I have lost.
Cookie class people.
Cookie class people. And now she can say, export my cookie class list, import it into we're going to use Flowdesk, and put it into Flowdesk and have it send out my cookie class stuff. Somebody in the cookie college had asked, they said, all my emails are now ending up in spam. My worst fear, right? Emails end up in spam, likely because it's a signal from the recipient.
Yeah.
So you'll open up your inbox and you'll realize somebody scraped your email, which means they took your email and now it's being used to send you marketing spam.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of it. Hey, first name, nice to hear from you. Like it always has, that never populated my name. When I get those, I mark them as spam.
Yes.
Intentionally, because I don't like when people treat my email that way. They're just scraping you. You're nothing to them. They're sending stuff to a million people.
Yeah, like I've tried to unsubscribe from Poshmark a million times. Now it just ends up in spam. Because I said report spam. I've tried to get out.
When you report spam, you signal to Google that this email is not making you like their product.
Yeah.
So they're like, we'll never show it to you ever again. Right. When enough people do that with your emails, Gmail, to protect its user base, will be like, anything coming from this domain, do not show it to my people.
And it will go directly to spam.
Even if they didn't direct it to spam, enough people have done it. So I had worked with the person who was asking questions. She was like, I send out my classes and now they're going to spam. So I told her she was actually sending her class reminders through MailChimp, which would make a ton of sense if you sign up for a ticket, you want it. But if she was sending a lot of emails to a lot of people that weren't segmented, meaning I'm sending buy my customs to somebody come a cookie class, and they're like, well, I never was going to buy customs. Yeah. I just came to this cookie class to do something fun this weekend. They'll say mark it as spam or send to trash. Gmail now says, here's where you're subscribed. Do you want to auto unsubscribe? Or it says, you've gotten a lot of emails from this people and you haven't opened it. What do you want us to do?
It's always suggesting it.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So it's important to list segments. So now you can see, now we're cleaning up our data. Yes. Now our data is more powerful. It is trimming the fat a lot. Mm-hmm. But this data, even though this big list is now a very small list, it's a very strong list.
A strong list is so much more valuable than a big list.
Mm-hmm. Now, if Corey's posting a lot of about town content and saying, where's my sales? That's not the right metric for about town content.
No.
Now, about town content could get page likes. And that's when I'd be like, where are my page likes? I track it every week on Monday. What did I post this week? Okay, this week I actually went to a rug tufting class and I got 5 page likes locally, but the rug tufting class wasn't in Corey's demographic. So she maybe say, well, that those aren't valuable people to me.
Yeah. So my goal, because going off that, my cookie classes are actually near the rug tufting place. So because I have a sugar cookie classes page and my mixing bowl cookie page, it would behoove me with the knowledge to post the rug tufting class along the cookie classes page, because geometrically that is where it is.
Do we understand? Are we seeing this? How tracking different metrics, and even if you said, I'm not even going to focus on this metrics, I'm just going to log it, is valuable in reference to what we're doing. So sometimes I'll say to Corey, the Vendy Blendy is a great example of where you need to focus, right? If we said the Vendy Blendy's potential success is based off of Corey's product reviews, is that a good metric? Like you make an Instagram video unboxing a vendor's stuff.
Yeah.
It gets 300 likes. Well, Vendy Blendy, cancel it. Cancel it. It's not going to work, right? That's not correct. The metric we base tracking Vendy Blendy success off is pending members.
Yeah.
Not even Vendy's. Mm-hmm. Pending members are indicative of the success of the event. That's the one we said, if this number is strong, the numbers within that day, the sales numbers will be strong.
And I want to say, to us talking about segmented audiences, it would be so much easier for me and Heather to host the Vendy Blendy within the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. There's 50,000 people in there. And you're like, 50,000 beats the 10,000 that were in the Vendy Blendy group. Here's the problem. 50,000 people weren't going to spend money at the Vendy Blendy.
Right. So you can see the big number is actually a lie. And the small number was actually the metric that had the most impact with sales.
What I see bakers do, we're all guilty of it. We'll lie to ourselves. We'll say, yeah, we got so many, and we'll look good to ourselves in one aspect and be like, wow, I'm really getting no leads. But look, I'm getting page likes all the time, but you posted an ASMR video of you decorating and that wasn't going to translate to sales. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, while it's cool for me to Heather and say the group has 50,000 people in it, that is a vanity metric. That is not a metric by which you could run your business by.
Now, it's the metric I might say, hey, do you guys want to sponsor the group? It has 50,000 members. That would make more sense in that. But that's not our focus. Mm-hmm. It was so you can see, I cannot say the vendor the vending plan is successful based off of the number of sellers. No, that's not indicative of a successful event for the metrics that we're tracking. When you look at what you're going to track this year, you're going to say, last year, what did I wish I knew? And I didn't know. Okay, now make a list. I wish I knew, just write it down on a piece of paper. I wish I knew how many leads I got. I wish I knew how many sales I got per month. I wish I knew how many Valentine's Day orders I got.
Yeah.
Right? Then you say, maybe I wish I knew how many networking events I went to. Okay. So we're going to start making that list, and it's going to be unique to you. Then you're going to say, what's my goal in 2026? What do I want to base my success on? I want to increase my sales. Great. That's going to be the guiding metric that's going to help you figure out which metrics.
When you say increase my sales, my brain already says we're going to create a newsletter if we don't already have one.
We're going to also do a hybrid approach of retention and acquisition. How can I bring back the old people? How can I get new people? And if that divides your month into 50% old people, 50% new people, so be it.
We're going to create a blog on our website so we have some content that can be ranked that's going up there so we can get more leads on Google. We're going to make sure that we have our profile set up on Nextdoor. If that is what our goal is, more local sales.
Okay. If we say, I want more corporate leads, guess what we're not going to focus on?
We're not going to put on the cutesy stuff.
We're going to go to, we're going to find a list. We're going to make a list of networking events in our area, and we're going to sort them by rating 1 to 5, which is a quality event, which is not a quality event, and then price.
We're going to create our LinkedIn profile. We are going to still take our custom orders for cute birthday sets. We're not going to post them
as much because you can have a mix of metrics, but if there's got to be a focal point.
But if we're like, we want more corporate leads, we've got to show more corporate sales.
And then we're going to go to more corporate events, and we're going to get more corporate business cards, and then we're going to see which one of those is quality, and then we're going to go to LinkedIn and connect with those people. So we can get them into our funnel where we're going to post things from our page and share it to our personal profile. Even those people didn't like our LinkedIn profile page, which somebody had asked about on the podcast last week, we're going to get them to connect with us and see it. And we're going to also start engaging with them. And you're going to say, how many networking events did I go to? How many corporate orders did I secure this year?
And if you want to really niche it down, I went to a BNI in Fairfax. I got 1 lead from there that bought. I went to, I think, Pink Powerhouse is this women's group. And I got 2 leads from there.
Join the chamber.
We joined the chamber, 3 leads. Now we're going to know where we need to focus on 2027.
You can see I prefer to look at my tracking system as a year, because when you narrow down your tracking way too narrow, you're like, I went to a BNI one time and I got no leads. So corporate isn't for me. It's too narrow. Your scope was too narrow. Your tracking was too limited. You would need consistency over time. Remember that little theory that they have, the 22, 21 touch points, meaning somebody has to hear from you almost 21 times in 21 different ways to finally make that order. Maybe that looks like 21 networking events. That's half the year.
Yeah. If you never set up a LinkedIn profile, they're going to have to see it 21 times.
And then maybe it's, you got people calling. Everyone calls on my birthday from the gym and says, happy birthday. It's because they want to be like, and this time they try to sell me on a personal trainer. I said, no, but I really do like the birthday calls. So you're going to say, okay, that's going to be my focus. I want to take more Eddie orders. What's your marketing going to look like?
It's going to. And
not have as many customs in it.
What was so funny is I put the little local foodie dude on.
Can we call him a foodie doodie?
The foodie doodie on a cookie, and Eddie printed it. I took 2 photos. First, he was back behind it, the Eddie printed one. And I said, you know what? I like the fact that I printed him on there and added a piping detail to it. I'm actually going to use the photo of him in the front with the Eddie print in the front to showcase.
You're going to move the cookie to the front.
Yes, sorry.
Oh yeah,
put him in the front of the cookie
that was
photo.
Eddie printed. Yes, because she wants to draw attention to the fact that we can print on cookies, right? So if you say I want more corporate Eddie orders, you're going to have more printed cookies in your marketing. You're also going to collect more leads from corporate people and send them emails about Eddie printed cookies.
If you say I want to focus on not attrition, but
acquisition.
Not retention. That's going to look different. You're going to have you're going to segment your audience. You're going to have you're going to send your best clients, like, you guys are my best people, so you get first dibs on my next sale. Your VIP group, maybe where your best clients can mingle amongst each other.
Yeah, you're going to focus on that VIP group number is going to be a very strong metric if you're working on retention, right? Because a way to retain customers is to get them in these groups where they can see you with your marketing with that. And that group is going to look a lot better this year because you're like, I'm going to keep this thing going.
What I see is a lot of people had the best of ideas. I'm going to create a VIP group to go with my Facebook page.
How simple, but then 2 clicks of a button.
I see it. It's the same content in both.
Not valuable.
Not as valuable. So what we want to do is if we are focused on creating powerhouse people that love our business, they're going to get exclusive content in there.
Yes.
They're going to get dibs on stuff in there.
To keep in mind, okay, the Cookie College, our sales product, right? It's a membership we can sign up for. I would say only in the 5 years we've been doing that, only 3 times has someone signed up for the Cookie College that hadn't come from the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group.
That is a huge metric.
Showing that groups are really strong, but my eggs are in one basket.
Yeah.
Right? So Corey and I like to cultivate within the group. You sign up for the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group. You like the collabs. You like how it's run. And then you're interested in the Cookie College. If I'm saying I want new acquisition, I got a lot of eggs in a single basket. I might want to move to Facebook ads and I might want to do Google Paid ads.
You'll also see, though, me and Heather know it's our strongest lead source. So on the podcast, we'll say, if you haven't joined the group, go join it. Because we want you to, if you go to our website, it'll be like, click here to join the free group where you get free information. Yes. So we are funneling them in there. But it's good to know that me and Heather do have a YouTube channel. We do have a podcast platform. So if Meta were to go down for whatever reason, we have different aspects that we've been growing over the years.
I can't outside. Yeah. He said, I agree. Amen, girls.
Amen.
He's like, are you tracking my treacle metric?
I can tell from the size of him, you are not.
Are you happy with what I'm tracking? Are you picking me in the room over other people? We're tracking it.
In the Cookie College, I do a Monday morning roll call where I just go live and then we pick a topic that we discuss and how we focus on it each week. If we're like, grow your social media in 2026, difficult. If we say, here's a topic on Monday that you can listen to and we can focus on together. So we've been building off of each other. So we created one where we went over what content. We're going to have a content game plan. We're going to have a content avatar. Who are we making our content for? How we're tracking the content. And then this one was definitely a spreadsheet to track your growth throughout the year. So in April, we're like, wow, I actually got 42 followers in the month of April. What did I do there? Let me go dive into April and see how I can implement that in 2027 and create more content that people resonate with. I will say, I made what was that barista bear from whatchamacallit? From Starbucks. I made him into a cookie. That one, while those numbers performed well, it was because it was trendy in the moment.
Right.
So I said, my November sales went up, or my November numbers went up. Why? Well, I did something trendy. So next November, I can't be like, well, Corey, you suck. Your November sales are down. No, maybe this next November, nothing trendy happens. But I can know that, hey, sometimes you could jump on a trend train and not necessarily be down on yourself that your sales or your numbers are down kind of thing.
It's very interesting. And I know that maybe you listened to this podcast and we're like, tell me what to track, girls. It's going to be unique to you. Some of you guys are like, I'm a second income earner. This is my hobby and I don't need necessarily the sales, but I'd like to grow this. You're going to focus on page likes. You're going to focus on content creation. And then whatever metric you choose, you're going to see that your marketing is going to adjust to support it. If I want to grow cookie classes, I'm not going to make reels about customs. Okay. If I want to grow cookie classes, I'm going to make reels about cookie classes. Then I'm going to make it and post it on Instagram, but I'm definitely going to post it to Facebook and I'm going to see what I can extract from this and post it in groups, right? So you're going to see that it kind of creates the metric you choose, creates the marketing campaign you focus on. Within this, you can have durations of focus, right? Durations of metric. January, I really want to do this. February, I really want to focus on this. You could break it down by that, or you can say my whole year, this is what I want to focus on. You can have multiple metrics, but keep in mind, probably 3 or 4 solid ones.
Yes.
Or ones that interchange. When you say, I want bigger, faster, stronger, better of everything, you're going to overwhelm yourself. You're going to overwhelm your spreadsheets.
It's going to be dirty data. You're going to give up.
You're going to see, I always ask myself, did this metric assist me this year?
Yeah.
No. Did I need to track it then? Okay. It goes away. But how about all the things? It's no longer serving me. It served a purpose at one time. It's no longer serving me today. Could that effort be spent in a better metric, a better logging of data here?
Yeah.
So that's what I'd focus on in the next 1 week. I hate the lull after a spicy holiday like Christmas into the doldrums of January. New Year's, I'm a little too old for that. At one point, it was a vibe.
Yeah.
This time, I'm like, okay, I got my spreadsheets ready. So in the next week, you're going to say, what do I want out of my business? Once you control your business, it doesn't control you. What do I want out of my business in 2026? Do I want it to grow? Do I want it to maintain? Is it not focused on what I want? You're going to turn the train in the direction that you want to go, and you're going to find the metrics that support that direction.
Yeah.
We don't want to, not all metrics are created equally. Sometimes I log something and I'm like, I'll never make a marketing decision from this, but I want to know.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 years ago, the Vendy Blendy, remember, we came up with the strongest metric. We sat down. The strongest metric is pendies. But what I hadn't tracked the year before was how many people requested to join the group at certain data points. This year, I said I will track it leading up to it. I'll track it weekly. The week of, I will track it daily.
What kind of sucks, though, is because we delete all that content. We can't be like, what was the gimmick Heather pulled on that day?
If we had gotten ahead of it, we could have.
I know.
I'm lazy and I'm busy.
Yeah.
So, and then the day I've actually tracked it hourly, every other hour, right? Because then I said, last year I wish I had this. This year I can log it, and then next year I can reference it. And then every year I say to myself, what can I do just a little bit better with the spreadsheet? What can I make the spreadsheet do a little bit better that it works really well for my goals this year?
Yeah. Yeah. I see a lot of times people will say, put your face in front of the camera, get on there, do a video. You'll do one video, it flops. Okay, you did one video, it flopped.
And you immediately say, the metric says, my face is ugly and nobody wants to watch it, so I'm no longer putting my face in a video.
But listen, if you've never been in front of the camera, your first video is going to flop. You have to fall in love with the flop, but it's never just, you can't rest the laurels of a whole year on one tiny little aspect of your business. It has to be tracked. You need to get in front of it 4 or 5 times. Okay, well, I talked about this one in the first one, that one flopped. The second one, I actually showed a cookie class and I had everyone wave. That one performed way better. Now we have comparison. Give yourself a few more videos. Oh, we've got some trackable data, friends.
I was telling Corey, when you're surrounded by data on all sides and you don't know which one's a valuable one, you can see now why massive corporations pick the wrong metric and head in that direction. Hindsight being 2020, you're like, and that's where Sears went wrong. JCPenney should have never run those sales.
They were so fun. There's this guy, and I can't remember his name, but if you just look him up on TikTok, he always says the rise and fall of, and Quiznos, the rise and fall of Radio Shack.
When he's talking, I'm like, you dummies. Why would you have even done that? An interesting one where the wrong metric was tracked was Red Lobster's endless shrimps.
They did an
endless lobsters?
Yeah.
It was
shrimps. It was shrimps.
Yeah. And they said the problem with it, while it got people into the store, it actually cost them, they lost money per person that walked in the store. Yeah. If your metric was bodies and seats, then you got 100%. You got an A+.
Yeah.
If your metric
Garden
was sales.
Isn't waiting till they shut down before they realized that their rewards program was giving way too much food.
They yanked it.
So they pulled it, but they didn't wait till the end to say when we pulled it. You're going to pull things because the metrics in the data tells you to.
And you're going to be like, did I fail or did I pivot at the right time?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going to say, I pivoted at the right time. You failed if you continue pushing for a metric that is telling you this isn't it.
It was so funny. Blockbuster, I listened to the rise and fall.
What was the biggest attribution of their fail?
The biggest attribution was they took so much money for late returns and they weren't willing to give it up until it was too late. But Netflix and that, Redbox had already.
Netflix started as you return it whenever you feel like it.
And they said Blockbuster was like, no, a big portion of our money comes from people late returns and them having to pay for the late return fee.
You can see that Blockbuster's days were numbered as streaming became the flavor of choice. Netflix went from, I don't know if you're old enough to remember this, they went from mailing CDs to now it's a streaming service. There's no way to get it. I think someone said that there's still some Netflix where it supports places with no Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's
like
so
no
funny.
High speed internet. But in Blockbuster is like you're gonna physically drive to a Blockbuster. You're going to touch a bunch of dirty cases and see.
At the turn of the century, when Blockbuster first came out, it was they said the numbers were booming. People loved that they could get
because they were competing against a theater where the movie is no longer played. Like, wow, now I can rewatch this movie at home. Then you have Netflix. When Blockbuster could have said, let's turn it into a streaming service, they let Netflix take that market share. When Blockbuster finally got its head out of its bunhole and said, what metric do we need to focus on? It was already too late.
And you're going to, if we bring it shrink down to the baker, your local competitors might be doing a...
You know what? Great point on that. To look over your shoulder. And that's why we say, put the blinders on. Your competitor is running a completely different business. You guys happen to sell a similar product, but that's about only times you guys cross paths. What happens when you say, oh, they're doing that? I should do that because if they're doing it, that makes sense. You have no idea what metric, if any, that they're focused on.
Yes. We don't know. Are they getting ready to take a big break? Are they going to do a baby announcement and not work for the next 3 months? Is this just a side job for them? When you always pivot to what your competitor is doing, they are directing your business. And you don't even know what they're directing it by.
I saw somebody ask, I think it was in the sugar cookie market room. She was like, I need to get on TikTok. My competitors are on it. And I was like, question, are your competitors on it because their competitors are on it? Or are they on it because it's creating leads?
Yeah.
I said, from what I've seen in the 6 years of running this group, the lead source that is most powerful is Facebook groups. So for that reason, I'd focus on my Facebook page and cultivating a local community group. She was like, nope, they're getting leads. I can feel it. I know it. I see their views.
Views is also not necessarily a metric for sales.
Right. I said to Corey, some of the companies that we worked with in the past, I'm like, they're $1 million companies, but I've never seen them recommended a single time in a Facebook group. And we're different with cookies, but I'm like, just because no one's recommending you doesn't mean you're not generating leads.
Absolutely not.
Generating income. You may see they're on TikTok. They may get 1 million views. Is it converting? Because to me, the conversion is probably the metric I'd focus on there. Views are great if you're paid out of the creator fund.
Yeah. I have grown 2 accounts, not to any big numbers, but 2 accounts to over 17,000 on there. And I can tell you that it's a lot of the rewards program and TikTok Shop that is really pushing these people. And it's cool to be like, I have 40,000 followers, but at the end of the day, I see huge content creators are broke.
Yes, they're abandoning their channels. I told Corey over the weekend I downloaded TikTok per my usual ceremonious download. And it was this man, and he was cleaning really, 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 really disgusting carpets. And what he could do was fascinating. I watched the entire thing. He got 2, 3, 4, 5 views from me, and he got a follower. He is in Atlanta. He'll never hear from me. He'll never buy a single thing. But he got my view, and if he's paid out of the creator fund, he'll make money. Great. That was deserved.
Yeah.
But if he said, I don't care about the $5 I make from views, every time someone calls me to clean their entire home carpets, I make $500, I am worthless to this man.
Absolutely.
I love that he made the content for me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing that for me. I loved watching it.
Yeah.
However, I am a burden to your analytics now.
I know.
So I see a lot of bakers will look over at other bakers and be like, look, they're making content for bakers. That must be great marketing. But Corey and I say that's a little muddled because now you're saying, hey, bakers, here's my affiliate link for Amazon. Definitely buy this turntable.
It's so funny. It's like, hey, bakers, I made $1 zillion off the back of my clients.
Hey, clients, do you want to buy
this?
this?
For ordering.
I need to tell them I made $1 zillion. So that muddled messaging, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it needs to be either intentional, but don't look over your shoulder. That's what they're doing. That must mean it works. Yeah. They may not be even using Rudolph guiding their sleigh by night, right? So we definitely need to make sure that the metric that leads us is the one that is shining light on what we want out of 2026. Yeah. And if it shifts halfway through the year, great. Thank you so much for listening to your metrics. They were telling you something. You sat down and you said, what are they telling us?
Let me tell you, my taste test challenge videos, my audience doesn't like them. You guys don't like them. You like the first video and you like the last one. I can't blame you. You just need to know, do the cookies stay fresh till day 12? It would behoove me to make one singular video, me just eating 12 cookies in a row, and then the last one saying, wow, they all tasted great. And I filmed it every day and put it in one video. That is that's what you guys are telling me. So it would behoove me to take that instead of being like, I'm going to do a longer taste test video of 5 months. No, that's not the answer.
And you've got to listen. You got to listen to the metrics that matter and then make your decisions and be able to adjust quickly. You always say that big corporate conglomerates, there's too much red tape to turn the ship around. And then you're like, wow, we started on this direction. This direction wasn't it, but we're too far. We're knee deep in this and we can't change it. The benefits of really small companies, single solopreneur companies, is that you make all the decisions, you get a turnaround.
You can pivot in a day.
So, we say one of the ways that a solopreneur makes themselves unpivotable is 10-year leases, 5-year leases.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit more difficult. But a lot of us, the large majority of us, you guys are working from your home, your cottage. You don't even require a license. You can move, pivot, right? Yeah. So something to keep in mind, metrics, track it. They said you can't, if you don't track it, you can't manage it. There's some phrases that if without tracking, you're flying blind. And if you feel like, oh, I don't know what my
you can't change what you don't track.
Yes. I like that. Thank you. It was better than what I said.
Yeah, it was.
If you can't track it, you can't
change it.
Block it.
No way.
So find out what the metric is. Find out the analytics that support that metric and have it guide you in 2026.
Yeah. Let's go into 2026 knowing a little bit more.
Knowing a little bit more of the important stuff. Yeah. I do want to warn people there's tracking too much.
For sure, Heather. Me, tracking too less. Heather, tracking too much.
I Somewhere between. Narrowed it down. Sometimes I'm like, this is a pointless thing to track. Yeah. This big number is pointless for me to track. It has no relationship to anything we do. Corey going viral. And that's why I always think viral is so funny. Corey got these viral videos. She posted, there was a screen print or something.
It was.
Silk screening. It was weird because you saw a white cookie and then she put something on it and then she went, and then it became an outline and people were like, wow, you're a magician. It went viral. It made us $0.
Yeah.
It bumped up this weird Facebook number.
By thousands.
Now, this number will swing by 100 people a day.
Yeah.
I'm pointing at the Smurl behind me. That Smurl that tracks that number.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's too, I didn't pay for the longer Smurl, so it's
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's 100. So what happens is that, well, they went viral. It must have been the right thing to post. I'm only going to post silk screen printed cookies. Yeah. I want to tell you, we made 0 sales. No people joined the sugar cookie marketing group from that video.
I know.
So, but you're like, but look at all the views. But what was the metric I needed? Yeah. I'm not getting paid off of views. It's not the
metric by which, yeah.
So that I'm going to say, don't do what we did. I even say to Corey, shoot, I think it's going viral. Like, sometimes I'll even like turn off comments.
I know.
So just something to keep in mind. I think you have to have a guiding light. Mm-hmm. I don't think if you don't have one, you're always going to feel discombobulated. You're going to feel directionless, behind, going in all the places and going nowhere forward.
Posting everything, nothing's working. Mm-hmm. I've shown up every day, what gives? And it's because you didn't have an ultimate goal to work towards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, focus on that. And then that will tell you where to take it.
Yeah. My goal is to have a big pop-up next December.
Okay, so Corey needs to focus on what would support a big pop-up. And she was like, well, I'd need a newsletter. Well, then I'd need a CRM. So now I'm like, well, what do you know you need to do?
Yeah, you'll see my content now instead of just sets is a lot of singular cookies to get people used to the fact.
Corey's even actually gone ahead of schedule. And she's like, while I was making Christmas cookies this year, what was I going to say? Caramel cookies. I was making caramel cookies. I have actually done my pre-sale photos for next December.
Yes. Yeah. So I said, whatever I make this year, I'm going to make sure that my colors are universal between them all. And I'm going to take them now. So when I hit the market next year, end of November, for my December pop-up, I already got it ready to go.
You got a December pop-up, which we're renaming not pop-up because we talked about it with our sisters and they're like, I don't know what that means. What are they? Oh, grab and goes.
Grab and go.
She could have 2 metrics you could choose from. Sales the day of or people who came by. Which one's going to be more important to you?
The sales the day of.
So if one person came and bought everything, you were successful.
Yes.
In marketing.
At the end of the day, if I'm trying to make sales, what I will track and tell me, I want to track what was sold the most of. Because what I know is if the singular cookie did not sell, but the pack of 4 minis sold.
Your next year's December.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm going to give them more of what they want.
Right.
And you want to track those things so that you know.
So Corey, if she wants a big December pop-up, she may consider actually doing a couple of pre-run grab and goes, which we're renaming it, so that she can see, okay, it may not be the designs I'm going to focus on, but it may be the pack. Did they like the DIY kits? They sell more of this. And then you're going to look at that a cohesive whole. Okay, but in Christmas, we have grandmother, we have kids, Valentine's Day is couples, and you're going to have to kind of go from that.
My thing went down.
So we only got 15 minutes left.
Scooches along.
We only got 15 minutes left. Do the texting questions. Cookie Design Lab, they're a sponsor. I actually think they're actually going to be at EddyCon. We're not going to be there.
I need the login, friend. I want to try it.
It's my Gmail. She gave you a free year.
Yeah, and you said it ran out. You had to renew. Give me the thing.
You email Malia and you tell her you want it. We have 3 texts in. 1, 2, 3?
2.
2. Right there in the middle. Hi, twins. You are a winner. 716 area code. Where do you think you're from?
716. That's Vermont.
Vermont. Weston, New York. Not bad. You're close.
Oh, good.
Maybe. Please, people from Vermont, don't get upset.
Up there.
Up there and then.
Yeah.
Hi, twins. I have a story to share, and I'm curious how you would have handled the situation. An older woman showed up at my house, rang the doorbell, was greeted by my husband. I made him answer because I wasn't wearing a bra, because I was in my sweatpants and I was decorating cookies. She asked him if we were open, quote unquote. I threw on an apron real fast. I ran to the door so confused, and I asked her how she found me. She said that she had won one of my giveaways this summer, which would have been in my cookie cupboard on my porch for her to pick up. Okay. I can see where this is going. I've never met her in person. She just thought she'd stop by and see if I was open. She wanted Barbie cookies for Christmas. I told her I'm fully booked for 2025, which is true. And I sent her on her way, most likely with complete shock still over my face. My question is, who does that? I'm not a brick and mortar. I'm not even on Google business listings. I'm blocked. Long story. And Corey, if it had happened to you, how would you have handled it? So to kind of break down what I think I read there, she had done a giveaway and you had to come to the porch to pick it up.
And she gave away something that was already made.
Sounds like this lady didn't understand the parameters there and never came to pick it up. Just thought, I won a set of cookies. I'm going to stop by this bakery and see if they can whip them up real quick. I'm going to say that this is heavily based on user error of the person just misunderstanding a lot of different aspects. These are kind of hard to plan for, these types of miscommunications, because very rarely are you going to ever experience this. So you don't necessarily need to add it to your terms and conditions. When you win a giveaway and you don't show up within 7 days, like that's worthless to most people who understand, I won this giveaway. What I would do for her.
Well, here's what I would do. In my copy throughout the year, what I did, everything's made to order. So bake to order, made to order, just making sure that I include that into my copy, whether it's on my website, in my posting, in my emails, that everything's made to order, that people know that at the end of the day, I don't just have things on hand. And I have people that email me all the time. Do you have anything left over? Do you have anything that you've just made for fun? Can I just buy anything off of you? If you wanted to, if someone came to my door and she was like, I want Barbie cookies and I need them tomorrow, I'd be like, I am so sorry, but I would love to take your order in 2026. If she just wanted anything.
I'm sorry, she doesn't want to pay. She won a giveaway. She thinks, I think the user.
Let me tell you what I think.
Okay.
She won the giveaway in the summer and came and picked up the order on there. So she got her information from that giveaway. She didn't know that she doesn't just have things on hand.
Sure, you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. So she's saying, I liked your cookie so much, I want to place an order in
but just
person.
didn't know that you can't just show up and there's something. She just thought that.
The lady's like, but I'm clearly not a bakery brick and mortar. So if the woman came in the middle of the summer, she would have known this is somebody's house.
Absolutely.
But she's
I
asking
know
if you're
people are always asking me, do you have something on hand? At the end of the day, I'm posting funny cookies that were one-offs that I made on the excess of an order. So it looks like if you thought that I posted a funny cookie today, someone's like, how can I order this? I made the cookie 2 years ago. They're not knowing that this is just content cookies. At the end of the day, they think you have cookies all the time. You're posting, I made this funny cookie, regardless if you say you could buy it or not.
Okay, I agree. You're right. She has come to the house before. Her thinking it was a bakery was...
She knew it's someone's
confusing
home.
By the name. She's like, probably bakeries you walk into.
Absolutely.
The lady doesn't have a Google business listing, so the other woman had to have gotten the address from her directly, which means she's gone to the house before. Okay, what I would have done, I would have been like, oh, I'm so sorry for that confusion. Yeah, it takes about this long to make cookies. I'm fully booked, but let me get your email address. I'm going to send you to some other bakers that may have availability.
Sure.
That said, if it's something you want to plan ahead, I would love to bake for you in the future, and I'm super sorry. Then I would, out of the goodness of my heart only, give her something I had pre-baked if it was available.
And
it wouldn't have been a dozen.
No,
it would have just been a consolation prize.
to be. Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
That's all you could do.
Here's a car cookie for you. And again, I don't think the baker.
Is not wrong in this. Absolutely
right.
But that's why I'm saying in the copy throughout the year, and this could just be she's an older generation. Maybe she didn't read. She doesn't know. I would include the words made to order in more of my posts so people don't think you have things that are on hand.
Possibly. And I wouldn't do it in a threatening way.
No.
I would say people, hey, this is how long it takes to plan. I make a reel. I'm like, first voiceover. First I sit down with the customer and we talk about their ideas and concepts. It takes about a week for me to get back to the customer with what I think we can do. And I invoice the customer then. Then I go to the kitchen. Oftentimes customers will place an order a month out because I've fully booked up closer to event days. So I like to encourage my customers, place your order now. We can still get to it then.
It's so funny is my neighbor who I talk to often, I have made orders that I've never posted in my life. And I'll just get a wild hair and just post them on a random day. If it's spaghetti
I'll ask
day.
for them and you'll be like, those are
gone. But my people who are not in the baking realm and do not run businesses think that what you post is what you have just made. So my neighbor came out and she's like, did Laura order those? And I was like, what? And she's like, the thing you just posted today. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. That was from like 52 years ago.
I would be like,
so
did she buy a gift for me?
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, take pictures and like segment your set. So like when spaghetti day rolls around, you have a post someone would see that and be like, oh, they made spaghetti cookies for spaghetti day. Let me order them. So at the end of the day, we have to train our audience by more information.
Bigger jury has weighed in. You're completely innocent. Death to the other lady. Just kidding. Explanation to the other lady.
Yeah.
People will find a way to be confused. Don't punish your other clients for that.
Yeah.
Just handle it on a case by case.
That's so random. I wouldn't even need to add it to my terms of service.
If you want validation, I think you handled it right.
Oh, you handled it. And if you had nothing to give her, you had nothing to give her. You can't can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. You either had cookies or you didn't.
You're either wearing a bra or you weren't. We gotta hurry up here. I love hearing Corey's guesses as to where this is from. A 281, and now you have to
hold
guess
on. That a 281 Texas.
You think? Houston.
I was correct.
Houston, Texas.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I love hearing Corey's guesses as to where they're coming from each week. Looking at averages, I'm surprised Texas doesn't get it more often. Seeing about 80%, just a rough estimate, seem to be from there, or maybe that's here. It's funny. Texas has some of the best cottage food laws because you have a lady there that's like ambitious in doing it.
Yeah.
Because of that, and you're just sheer
in the
amount of size of Texas.
There's a ton of bakers.
Everything's bigger in Texas, including the cookies. But it's so funny. I think the restrictive laws are actually in New York City. In New Jersey, I think has really heavy
Maryland. Now
laws.
You can't have like pre-bagged icing anymore.
I think it comes from the laws. The bakers follow the laws. If it's easy to enter,
oh yeah,
you're gonna
absolutely,
have more bakers in there.
For
but
sure.
I'm always surprised. Didn't they do a cookie con in Texas, but the Florida one still puts more out and gets more attraction? Yeah. I think it's because Disney's right there.
I think so too.
Very interesting. It's so funny that you guessed that was Texas. Last one. Oh no, this is the same text twice. I love it.
Love it.
So our podcast sponsors. Tell me.
We have Daisy Makes, and that's molds that you can. And she's
Keep going. Move along.
Okay, help me then. Come on and help me.
You don't remember? Baking Me Crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Baking Me Crazy.
Eddie, the edible food printer.
Yes. Go on. Just go.
Well,
you weirdo. You have it in front of you. I have no brain right now.
In front of me. And also, I don't like your attitude. Oh, they're taking my sweet. Yeah. Scrolling down to the bottom of our website.
That's wild.
If you go to the website and you can scroll through it, a lot of the resources that we talk about here are easily accessible from sugarcookiemarketing.com.
Yes.
Cookie Design Lab, we already talked about. Baking Me Crazy, Royal Batch, Code, Twins. All these discount codes are listed. Also, you can find links to find the spreadsheet of other non-podcast sponsors who have given you guys discount codes just for being in the
Royal
Sugar
Batch.
Cookie Marketing. Yeah. Yep, I just said that. Thank you. Bosch and Nutriment is running a sale. If you use code Sugar Cookies at checkout, you save $20. It pays us $20. So that ends on January 1. I know a lot of people are thinking is that you always have that baking rush where you're like, maybe I could have used a bigger machine. Might want to consider it. They have an RT state, but Corey said if you're trying to do big dough days.
If you have a very dry dough, you're not going to be as happy.
Fair. And it's a motor difference because the RTC is almost half the price of the Bosch Universal Plus in white.
You can hear the Universal is like, we will push through hard butter.
Corey said she's like coaching the artist.
I'm like, I got it.
Come on,
be like your big brother.
Yeah. So that takes us to today's podcast. I know we're going to retool the podcast starting next week, but I have to finish this because this fish is free if I get there on time.
Good morning. Do you have a twin dress? We got a little crazy.
I'm so sorry. I just want to talk about the tufting class.
Okay, go ahead.
We did go, and Corey fell on her own sword. You know, the first person. So it was a little more hands-on than I thought.
Yeah.
It was hands-on because we were the only 3 people there.
And which is great. It was great. Right. I couldn't have.
So when you got there, they said you're billed by the canvas size you choose, not how much yarn you use.
Yeah.
And they had a wall of yarn. So the interesting part, it kind of parallels cookies because it was asking Corey, you needed a projector, you needed a stand, you project it onto this canvas, then you trace it with a Sharpie.
Yeah.
And then you take that canvas, you fasten it to a table.
And unfortunately, like we say, with cookies, you go from the inside out. This was just up and down, right to left.
You could only actually go up.
Yeah.
You couldn't even go down. It seemed like a limitation of the tufting gun, but it was the tufting gun that most people have. So you load the yarn into it, just like you thread a needle, but everything is like times 50.
Big.
Right? So like instead of just this tiny thing, it's this the tufting gun was the size of probably your pinky finger. The tufting gun needle.
Yeah.
And then you fed it into there. And then every time it punched a hole through the canvas, it actually cut its own yarn.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. And you had to keep an eye out that your yarn wasn't too taut because it would pull back out of the tufting gun. Nothing was really.
Well, I'm sure. And most people got into cookie decorating because the videos were nice. And you're like, that looks like something I could do. I thought I would be good at the tufting thing because the videos make them look easy. That is someone who knows what they're doing. Because you can tuft too close to a prior tuft and then you got a double tuft.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting. We were probably there for what, an hour and a half? Maybe?
Even more
Start
than
to
that.
finish. Yeah. So we had projected it, we traced it, and we all did like a small square. I almost want to say it was about less than 12 inches, maybe 10 by 10. And you could use as much yarn as you wanted.
the yarn.
And it created a massive mess of yarn.
Because it cuts it every time. So and then you pull out your little accidents. There was a ton of yarn on the floor.
It was very easy to make a mistake and pull it back out. It was the equivalent of scraping off your icing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
But you could do it by threads. You could just say, so I had made a watermelon. I had seeds. She was like, what you're going to do is make the whole watermelon red. Then you're going to pick out where you want to put your seeds.
What's so funny is minus Ashley's, me and Heather's looked really like what we wanted it to. And if you have a beginner's eye because you're like, whoa, my flower looks like a flower. But I'm sure if someone who has been in the tufting world for a while, they're like,
it's a time thing. It's a time thing.
But just like with cookies, like you could be like, wow, I made a heart.
And you look back, and I said, Corey, I should document how bad I am, knowing one day I'll be amazing at this. And then they actually did the trimming for us, which actually is a harder part. So you put glue on the back and glue a canvas to create this rug texture. Yeah. We didn't do that. And then they were going to trim it for us, which we didn't do in person. So I'll pick those up in 2 weeks. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was great.
What's your twin tourist?
That's my twin tourist.
That is her twin tourist.
Goodbye, my friends. We'll see you later. Merry Christmas. Let's track it in 2026.